Good morning, Flosstube. This is Annemiek from the Handwerk Boetiek. It is Monday, February 24th. It's around 1 p.m. I think our time, and it's time for another Flosstube update. I have to say that knowing that I'm going to have to record a new video in 2 weeks' time is really good motivation for my stitching, because I really want to show you something new that I worked on, or something that's finished, and that'll only happen if I actually stitch. So thank you for encouraging me to stitch daily. I've been doing quite well so far. I think over the past 2 weeks I have been stitching, I think, every single day. I have found that if I have an appointment in the evening, if I'm meeting somebody for dinner or just going to visit somebody or have somebody over, then it's a little harder to stitch. I hardly stitch during the day. It's usually during the evening that I have time to sit down and get my stitching and get going. But like I said, so far I'm really happy with how things went, and I've had a couple of weekends where I could really put quite a lot of stitches in, so things are going well. Then thank you so much for everybody who watched the second video, who left comments, who subscribed. I really appreciate it. It's so much fun to read the comments, to know that people actually out there watch the video, that I'm not doing this just for me. A lot of you have done some suggestions. I've had a request to do a shop tour. Like I said in the last video, I will do that after Nashville. Things are pretty hectic at the moment to get everything organized for Nashville, and we still have some of the snow decor and models in the shop, and I really would like to have that all gone before I do another shop tour. If you are interested, Stephanie from Pam and Staff from Just Keep Stitching did a wonderful shop tour when they visited here in December, and that'll give you quite a good idea of what the shop looks like. And the one I'm gonna do in, well, let's say sometime in March, I'll try to, open up a couple drawers and zoom in on some of the models, maybe have a little talk about what we did with the models. So we'll just wait and see. Stitching wise, I have 2 finishes. I have an FFO, which is quite exceptional for me. I like to leave the finishing to other people, but this one I did myself. And I've been working on quite a few projects, so let's go and show you what I've been doing. The first finish that I have is this one. It's the Angel Fish from JBW Designs Seaside series. This is number 1. This one comes with the seahorse and the flamingo, I think it is. I finished the other 2. Now this one is done as well. These are really quick stitches, and they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy stitching them. The only thing is you do have to keep track of the design, because it's very easy to make a mistake. So that's the finish. Then my FFO is this. It's the little design that Cecilia Turner from Heart in Hand Needle Arts put out to her subscribers. I need to check if I can find a link where you can subscribe. She did an amazing design just before Christmas when she started her newsletter list. And this came this came in January, the last day of January. And I stitched this on a Friday night. I started and finished it. And then I wanted to make it into a Valentine's gift for my mom. Well, that didn't happen in time. But this weekend, I was able to finish it. It just has some wool felt from Weeks Dye Works at the back. And these pins are from my scrapbook stash. Now, I don't know about other countries, but over here, if you're looking for these kind of pins, let me take one out and show you how big it is. This is the size of the pin. Try a florist. I know that over here, florists will use these in bouquets, and they might have some or might want to order some for you the next time they get new ones in. So that might be a good place to start looking for those pins. These are from Maya Road. I ordered those ages ago. I don't even know if the company is still in business and if, you know, places like Joann's or Hobby Lobby would have these kind of pins. I wouldn't know. But over here in the Netherlands, I would say the florist is your best friend and see if they have some of the pins that you could use. So those were the two finishes. And then I think I showed you this one last time. This is stitched on that, what is it, 20 count fabric. I used Watercolors Marigold by the Karen collection. And I wanted to stitch this one as well. So I think I'll take this with me on the plane. I think this will be a nice project to do on the plane. It's very easy to see. And I'm going to use the same, let me see how this works out. I don't know if I can do this. So, oh, hold on. This will work. So this was Alphabet Pumpkin. And this is the French Country Pumpkin. So I'm going to work on this one. And then we'll have 2 new pillows in the fall that we can put in our window for display. Now, stitching on that 20 count fabric is like, it's a dream. It's easy to see, it's easy to do, it's a lot of fun. So I thought I would start one of the somersault boxes by Plum Street Samplers and stitch it with the call for DMC. This is how far I got. And I'm using 4 threads, which means that just by stitching that house, I think I only have a tiny bit of thread left from a whole skein. So it's a little thread intensive, but it's really great to do. By the way, this is what the result looks like. So this is what I'm stitching. I'm not going to stitch this outline here, and I probably will leave off the American flag. No offense to my American watchers, but yeah, it's just for over here. It doesn't make much sense. And I think the other thing is, let me get them. So, let's see, I need another hand over here. This is the green. Oh, here, this will work. This is the green and the red that's used, well, that's indicated on the design as the DMC colors for the flower and the leaves. I think it looks a little dull and a little not bright enough, so I'm going to change those to something that's a little brighter, a little more summery, and also to have a bit more contrast with the gray of the house. I think that would be good. So I still have to look for the colors that I'm going to use, but I'm definitely going to change those. So that's my 20 count fabric adventure. I don't think I would ever have this much fun stitching on a 20 count fabric. I'm rather used to stitching on 36 or 40 count fabrics, and this is just, it's very relaxing. And I quit working on this one because I thought, first of all, it's not a fall project. So I needed to get back with the program and work on my fall projects. And second of all, I think this makes a great travel project. I mean, it's easy to see. It's just DMC colors. I can just work, you know, do my stitches up and then go down. So yeah, it's going to be in my travel bag, and we'll see when it gets done. So last time, I think I had already started this one. This is Little Bits of Halloween from the Drawn Thread. I'm stitching this piece here, and I made some progress. This is how far I am. Now, there are some stitches missing over here because I'm lacking the light green that's necessary for the chart. It's on order. I'm hoping that it'll get in soon, and then we can send off some frets to customers, and I can finish my letters here. But yeah, it's working out really nicely. It's a fun stitch to do. I was cruising along, having a lot of fun with it. And then I made the mistake of watching Brenda and the Cereal Starter, not their newest video, but the one from 2 weeks ago, where they did, where they showed all the la-di-da designs. And I think you can imagine what happened. I'm trying to insert something here. I hope it works. So yeah, the squirrel came by and they showed this design by la-di-da, home needlebook. It's been in my stash for a long time. I've been wanting to stitch it. I saw it, I ran down, I checked if I had the design still in the shop. I did, so it would be, you know, it's good to have a little bit of stock of what I'm stitching. And I pulled the colors for it. It's done in DMC. It's 4 colors of DMC. It calls for DMC 310, which is black. I'm not very fond of 310 black. I think it's a harsh color. It does have its uses, don't get me wrong, but personally I prefer to use 3799. That's like a very, very dark gray. So that's what I did. And I worked on my home. Now, the house is something like 2,500 stitches. It's solid stitching. And I need to show the back to you because something happened when I was stitching it. Let's see. Here you can see it. Over here. Do you see all these threads that were ended off? Yeah, I miscalculated. The house is 40 stitches high, and somehow I calculated it as 50. So there I was going on with my stitching, and then by the time I got to the windows, which is, see, I started this way. So by the time I got to these windows, I was up here and I was like, there are a lot of stitches left above that window and it doesn't show on the chart. Yeah, so I had to frog 10 rows of 10 stitches. So that's another 100 stitches that I did twice, which in itself was not that bad, but the frogging was really not that much fun. But still, it worked out. And while I was stitching it, when I started it, I thought I would finish it as a needlebook. So that's why there's all this fabric left here. And then as I was going along, I thought this would be nice if I would just put it in a tiny frame and put the date 2011 when I moved into my current home. I really love my home. It's also a white home and I have a gray roof, so that was very fitting. I don't have a red door, I have a green door, but you know, details, who cares? And I also changed this. The heart is meant to be stitched in the 3799 or the 310 if you want. But I didn't like that very much. So I thought I would just do the heart in the red color that I used here and then change the date to 2011. The chart comes with a full alphabet and all the numbers, so you can change it to whatever year you want to, which I think is always really nice because then you don't have to go look around for the same kind of numbers, you know, the same font. And the alphabet is there. In case you want to do a needlebook, then you can stitch the same outline here and put your initials in the middle. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to frame this. Once I'm back from Nashville, I will take the time to pick up a good frame for it and have it framed and put it somewhere special. Now, this piece of linen has got quite a bit of use. Don't know if you can see it, maybe if I step back. So This was one of my January finishes, and this is from a couple years ago. This is from the work basket. I do not recall the design. I only know that I stitched it when I was with my brother and sister-in-law and my dad on a safari in Africa. So that's when this got stitched. I need to do something with that as well. I will just see once I'm back what I'm gonna do. And then the part that's still unstitched will be used for the other design from Anne's sampler, Pin Keeps. It's the one with the lady in the house. So that will be on this side. And then I'll see, I might have some little scraps left over, and I always keep those. I always try, when I start my stitching, I always try to figure out how I want to finish it, because if I finish it as a little pillow, I don't need as much salvage as I would if I wanted to frame it. So, for instance, with the little pillow, this one, I think I started like 2.5 centimeters from, so an inch from the side of the fabric, because why waste all that fabric if you're only gonna use like maybe 1/2 inch for the seam allowance and cut the rest off. The other advantage that I have is I stitch in hand, especially, you know, little things like this. So that makes it easier to start very close to the border. Anyway, that was my squirrel project. Thank you, Laura and Brenda, for showing home needlebook to me and get me all excited about it. I really loved stitching this. Then it feels like we're on this program where we're stitching fall related, Halloween related projects. And I feel like, you know, I fall off the wagon, I finish my project, and then I sort of jump back on the train. So now I'm working on this cutie. I really like this one. And this is how far I got. It's really a fun stitch to do. It's on a piece of lakeside linen that I have no idea what the color is. I got this before I was very consistent with labeling my fabrics. So this is just a 36 count lakeside, and it looks like a navy bean maybe, but I don't know. And basically, this is also like full coverage almost. So it doesn't really matter that much what kind of fabric you use, as long as it goes with the colors. So that's what I'm working on now. We'll see how long it lasts that I'm working on fall projects. I picked out a few that I'll show to you later on. And, you know, I think I already got my next project that will make me fall off the wagon again, the program. Because 2 years ago in the summer, I started the Summer ABCs by Little House Needleworks. And I'm stitching this on banding. So this will be a little, I don't know, are you able to see it like this? Now, the alphabet is all done, but I need to check it again because I think somewhere, well, maybe no, here. Over here, see how this one doesn't line up? So I think I need to rip all this. Oh, what fun. And then stitch it again. Now this happened to me on the winter one as well. So I'm like, this should be so easy. You just have a straight line down. Just, you know, line it up and stitch it and no problem. But turns out I'm not really good at it. So I try to do the frogging before I leave for Nashville, because this is on 28 count banding. And I think this will work really nicely on the plane as well. And I always like to have like 2 or 3 projects with me, because just imagine you see a squirrel, you know, like 10,000 feet up in the air, you see a squirrel and you want to start something else. So this one is definitely coming with me, and I just need to see how much of the frogging I get done before I leave. So that's sort of like my next let's forget the program and do what we like to do. I keep telling myself, as long as these are WIPs from, either last year or the year before, it's okay, because I'm finishing up a WIP and it would be great to have this in the shop during the summertime. So it's not really that bad. And sometimes it feels like fall is so far away. We're having an awful rainy gray day over here. It's really like a Monday weather day. And it, where everybody I think is ready for spring, for some sunshine and some, nice temperatures. And then, we have the summer. And then, like in 6 months from now, well, even more, 10 months from now, it's fall. So yeah, I'll try to finish those fall projects that I have currently going on. I might start 1 or 2 more and just, keep working on them on a weekly basis. We'll see how that goes. I picked out a few. There's this Halloween patchwork by Jardin Privé, which I really like as a Halloween piece. It's not too Halloween-y. It has enough Halloween elements that it's clear that it's for Halloween. But it's not a creepy thing. I don't really enjoy the creepy stuff. Then there is Hello Fall by Plum Street Samplers. This one is a little harder. I'm currently working on 3 different Plum Street Sampler projects, so I think I should finish one before I'm allowed to start another. So we'll see. But I really, really like this one. And then I checked out Ladida's Laurie's Designs after watching Brenda and the Serial Starter. And this one I think is very, very pretty. The verse says, if all our troubles were hung on a line, you would take yours and I would take mine. I think that's so true. And I really, really like it. So this has got nothing to do with fall, with summer, spring. This is like an evergreen piece that you can put out all year long. Then something completely different. The last year I sort of rediscovered CM Designs. It's Carol Manning Designs. She has some great, kind of like quilt designs. And she has a new series out that is called, it's like monthly designs. They look like granny squares, and she has adjusted the colors. And in the design, you get like this large piece, you get the square piece, and you get the 4 small ones. So it's a pretty good deal. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There's 17 colors in this one, which I think is not too bad. And then she came out with Violets and Primrose. I just love these colors. Doesn't this look like a granny square crochet blanket on your bed? I really, really like it. And I keep wondering, if you stitch this on something like a 40 count, wouldn't that look precious? So I'm horribly tempted to start one of these. It will not happen before I leave for Nashville because there's just too much going on and I don't have the time to kit it up and look for colors and all that kind of fun stuff. But maybe once I'm back, I'll see. So Nashville has been mentioned a couple of times. It's in less than 2 weeks. It feels like the last 10 days we've been inundated with emails from designers that are sharing previews, which is just wonderful. I think Lisa from Kindred Stitchers said that 2 weeks ago we were sort of moaning about the fact that there were hardly any previews ready. And now it seems like every day there's new stuff coming out. Well, not coming out, but it's shown to us. And it reminded me of how back, early this century, I went to Nashville Market. This will be the 16th year that I'm going to Nashville Market. And so the first couple years that I went, of course, we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have social media. We didn't have Instagram. we had websites, and if you were lucky, someone would have a blog where they would post whatever goodies they got in Nashville. So as a shop, we would go to Nashville, and you wouldn't really know what would come out at that time. You would really literally go in blind. There was no previews, there was no sharing, there were no pre-orders. You would go in and you would do your best to, buy what you thought your customers would like. And then I think like 2000, maybe around 2010, maybe a little early, a little later, there was this whole discussion between shop owners and designers about whether or not previews would be a good thing. Can you imagine Nashville market happening now, and you as a customer would have no idea whatsoever about what would be released at market? And even as a shop owner, I cannot imagine anymore that you would go to market not knowing what would be there, what you would find there. So in a way, it's been very helpful with the previews from the designers and suppliers, because it allows us as shops to make lists and know that if we get what's on the list, there's somebody waiting for that order as well. It takes a bit of the guessing work out of the game. There's still designers like Blackbird Designs. Traditionally, they won't release any previews. So they open up Saturday morning. It's going to be busy there. There's going to be a line, and everybody can't wait to see what Barb and Elma have come up with. So we'll see. I don't know if they will release any information this year. I'm not counting on it. A lot of the other designers have already sent previews or are still sending previews. I think most of us are still waiting on Plum Street Samplers and Stacy Nash Primitives. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of others. But part of the fun is also the element of surprise. And I think for me as a shop owner, I like it when designers keep like 1 or 2 designs under wraps and won't reveal that until we're actually at market. Like I said, it's sort of like a toss-up. You like to know that, not all of the designs and materials that you buy are guesswork, and you like to know that you have customers waiting for these items. But I think as a stitcher, maybe that's more it. As a stitcher, I would like the element of surprise. So I'm always grateful for designers that keep, 1 or 2 designs under wraps, and we'll just see it when we're there in Nashville. In the meantime, I've been working really hard to update the website with all the goodies that are available in Nashville. I will put the link to the Nashville page below in the description box. And I'm still adding to it every single day. Once I'm back, I will publish the Nashville catalog like I've been doing it for the last couple of years. If you want to make sure that you get all the news and all the funny descriptions and stuff into your mailbox, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. I will put the link to that in the description box as well. Make sure you subscribe to my Flosstube videos. Honestly, I don't think that at market I'll be able to do any Flosstube videos. I might record some things, but it'll take me a while once I'm back to put everything together. Once I'm back, I have 3 more days off from work to make sure that, all our orders are sent out, that I reorder whatever I think I need to reorder, that the catalog is being finalized, that everything is on the website. It's a lot of work. Add to that a 7-hour jet lag that somehow I need to manage as well. And it'll be a while before I can do, I think, another Flosstube. So in 2 weeks' time, when I normally would do my Flosstube, I'm just strolling around Nashville Market and getting all new goodies. I'm hoping that the week after that, so 3 weeks from now, that I can do at least sort of like an update. So keep your eye out for that. In the meantime, enjoy your stitching, stay healthy, be kind, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.